Hello everyone, Dan KB, Jeet, Kune, Physiology and more. I'm feeling a little better. I woke up this morning, I think I ate something bad yesterday or something. Wasn't really feeling the best. I did some exercise. Honestly, regardless of what anyone and everyone believes, the best single thing that you can do when you're feeling like crap is try to get out in there and do something that gets your heart rate up. The best thing type is cardiovascular exercise. Some people can't get themselves motivated enough. Okay, so this week's subject, I'm going to start lower back. So I'm going to first discuss lower back issues, what the root causes are. There are several things that come into play. Number one, if you work a job where you're constantly twisting, working a job where you're constantly twisting, turning, bending over, especially if you're bending over, picking up heavy things, even if you're doing it the proper way with your back, then honestly, constantly, consistently doing something like that throughout a workday, and then what do you usually do when you get off work? You just sit down in your car, then you go home, you usually sit down and relax. Not that it's okay to relax. Not that it's okay to just sit there and relax, because honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. However, what happens is you work your muscles contract. Well, when your muscles are contracting for a consistent period of time or a continuous period of time, and then you go and you just go from working them to boom, nothing, you know what happens? Tighten. And next thing you know, you have lower back issues. Most lower back issues are honestly caused not from, oh, I have a bad back. It's honestly mostly caused from tight muscles. So the best thing you can do is do some exercises right after your work, even before you get in your car. Or at least if you're not going to do it that way. Get in your car, head home, do whatever, get yourself a snack, whatever it may be, and do at least some mobility exercises to help loosen that up, okay? So in just a moment, I'm going to go over some exercise. I want to discuss this issue a little more. Another thing that can come into play is stress. Stress is honestly lack of nutrition. That can actually cause lower back issues, because your lower back is a very important aspect of your core. And if you're, even for instance, okay, so a lot of people that have, trying to get the best view here, okay, a lot of people that have, I'll just pretend I'm standing up, okay? A lot of people say, so think about it. You got a belly hanging out here. It is actually pulling on your lower back muscles. Just like the same concept. When you do an abdominal training, you go up like this. Okay, say I'm sitting down doing sit-ups. Okay, as you can see, slowly, it is pulling on your back. It pulls on your lower back. That's why it's best after abdominal exercises to simply do some type of, like I do bridges after pretty much every abdominal exercises. Those of you who don't know what a bridge is, you go like this, get your feet a little bit spread apart, and the best way to do it, put your hands in between the pit of your knees, come back to the point where it just touch, and like this, okay? And then you go like this, lay all the way down, push yourself up, okay? Spread your legs a little more, push yourself up like this, hold for a few seconds, back down, breathe in, breathe out. So that right there is actually going to stretch and strengthen your lower back. So there's one exercise right there. I gave you without even really thinking about it, okay? So what happens though is when you have a belly that's hanging down, it's pulling on your back muscles. And one way is to help prevent that. If you do have a belly and say you are working hard, trying to get rid of it, okay, take your pants, instead of hiking your pants down below your belly and let your belly sag, go like this. This is actually something I learned from the notorious, legendary Bruce Lee, okay, is keeping my pants right at my belly button, right at my belly button level. Because what that does is it actually helps keep your lower abdominals tight. So if you have a belly, don't let your belly sag and hang. Let your belly sit right here. Not only is it going to help prevent it from sagging more somewhat, it also is going to prevent that from putting that stress and tension on your lower back. And that honestly is going to help quite a bit. Another thing too is possibly either, like I said, a tight lower back, or if you exercise regularly, tight hamstrings. I remember my senior year in high school, I ran cross country for the first time, and I actually had an assistant coach tell me, I told him I kept having lower back issues while I was running. And he's like, okay, was that obviously, you seem like a pretty healthy guy. He's like, let me ask you, how often do you stretch your hamstrings? I said, I don't do much stretching. I do a little bit afterwards. And he said, okay, let me ask you another question. How often do you do abdominal exercises? At the time, I hardly did them at all. And that's what I told him. He's like, right there's your problem. He's like, you have tight hamstrings and weak abdominal muscles. And I'm like, okay, sure shit enough. I started doing more stretching, especially my hamstrings. I started doing more abdominal exercises. Guess what? I didn't have any lower back issues for quite some time, until I got to the point where I'm like, oh, I don't need to do these stretches as much anymore. Same problem. So there's a lot of underlying causes. I'm going to go over some other things this week as well. Just wanted to give you a quick discussion on that. So we got to keep these things in mind. Remember, number one, tight back muscles are usually mainly caused from a job you work where you work your muscles and they just tighten over time and evolve into a knot. You could possibly go days and weeks without having issues, but then over time, next thing you know, boom, slams you right in the face. Okay, so let's stay motivated. Get out there, believe in yourself, believe you can do it, and believe that you deserve it. Let's get out there. Let's go.